Payage may have been the only real bottom line misrepresentation to our American public, I think, but what is a financial scientist's opinion worth, anyway? I'm sure that Payage may have been the only real bottom line misrepresentation to our American public, I think, but what is a financial scientist's opinion worth, anyway? I'm sure there were lots of people with higher Saturday or X scores that have lost more money than I ever want to lose when I do become as wealthy as I envision being after these titans of industry who brag about spending $1,000 just to get to work every day by helicopter, feeding an egocentric herded behavior with natural self-aggrandizement. Find out that strategic restructuring of our economy is vitally important if we want to stay a United States republic, without resorting to martial law, military dictatorship following the total collapse of the monetary system and leaving a piece of likely radioactive dirt to shape and mold to rebuild a system that can make every common good available to man abundantly, and still allow our companies to fuel innovation, research, capital expenditures and generally exercise the aggressive pursuit of success as excessively as we possibly can try to win. We are working for a government-issued single productivity credit contract equivalently arriving in the event following a 100% hyperinflation, but not settling till after a 1000% rise in CPI after 5 to 10 years from now. This I do not consider opinion, rather than clear factual basis if you look at any cursory information about the functionings, dealings, and issues in every single financial media agency that wants to have any credibility when they discuss this subject. Despite what others say is that without the principally guaranteed bond insurance dealers, no one would have ever taken these bets in the first place. With low rates, artificially low or not, the fact we haven't had any failed treasury auctions suggests there is plenty of demand for US dollars. These banks sold paper that only requires a few percent of temporal guarantee per year to maintain until the banks actually become resolvent, even if they were according to US GAAP accounting rules of FSA principles generally, could have been managed through risk managers experienced in unwinding unhedged market exposure. Regardless of which market you're interested in or when you made the trades in the global financial markets, Goldman Sachs Hyperactive scrambled to become a bank holding company, in order to gain federally granted free money given to loan to the American public, did so intending to use it to trade on a proprietary basis, shooting up leveraged debt/equity rations yet again, and while tacitly banning of risk, is not advisable for any market. I would think that after our credit debacle, in hindsight, we did raise securities prices in which now more than any other time in U.S. history hold over 50 million investor accounts owning shares in domestic equity shares that many don't realize are inevitably correlated to the changes in the underlying index they compose. Say we all quintupled, but your bread cost 100% more. Does a 1000% increase sound like that prospect is beneficial for anybody on Earth? I'm not talking just the US, I'm saying this is being played out by fiat currency market regulators who believe by keeping their currency relatively exceptionally attributively undervalued that they can benefit their poor pockets of society by offering them jobs in minimum safety, and sub-dollar daily salaries that get more and more diluted every day through the inflation China in particular will face if they continue to artificially manipulate their currency, for the sake of hybrid Chinese state communism that they should in turn realize that just as they are as democratic and indebted financially, various poor publicly invested bureaucratic failures from publicly funded government investment projects typically run as far over budget just as is problematically reported by the U.S. without resolution. When credit defaults are actually more important to bond dealer investor brokers who trade amongst themselves even sometimes on a first-name basis, But when credit defaults are actually more important to bond dealer investor brokers who trade amongst themselves even sometimes on a first-name basis. But if we had not created this scheme where the bank can offer perverse incentives to overpay on this transaction in exchange for what is likely financially profitable for each side, because these AAA ratings still yield triple handle percentages in certain tranches if you look hard enough. So in that world we live in this dimensional frequency of reality where this perversely moral principal agent dilemma can be disintermediated through market structure reengineering, segmentation, related to how the products of each company disclose every relevantly governing financial transaction they are involved with, including as with investment bankers, also being FDIC bankers, which are not the same thing, and I love investment bankers, but suits out for cash hoarding, check cashing for the sake of deposits, as well as other obvious compliance issues I don't think can actually ever be firewalled, especially given the level of our technologies and obvious inadequacies in personal computer virus protection updates and general technological maintenance. Planning to get 64-bit Windows quad-core i7, so watch out for me to really step up the pace of financial output for educational purposes to discuss strategies for this particular multi-instrument portfolio position sizing technique. I am here to change the way the American capitalists do business, but not to whimsically promote idealistic, irrationally economically, illogical reasons that are reinforced and all based on universally distributing wealth. Not in the least bit. IDAC schemes that I have intuitively concluded will transform our society through correct incentivization reengineering that rewards technological growth. If we need 700 companies created like Apple to make it through this year, send me your best proposals, and I will intermediate these transactions in a private share market interested only in intermediary, principal non-proprietary holding company trades. We need new entrepreneurs, and don't ever forget Apple Company is really a 70s era company that every investor loves to hear quarterly reports, so much so that they do actually listen to them. In fact, any questions? Contact me. Bo Wolinski, President and CEO, RIA, CDA, Financial Scientist, Price Physicist, KC Capital Management, Incorporated. Email, Wolinski@capitalmanagement.com.